This is the crop and rotate module, and I'm going to teach you everything there is to know about it. So we've got the aspect, that's what we start with. We've got the margins, the show guides, which might be off, and in that case just check this on. In my case they are green. You can change them by clicking this symbol, and then you can change the overlay color from green to red or to gray. I think the standard is gray, but I made them green so they are better viewable. In this photo that might not be the best option, so red might be. And then you can change the contrast as well to make sure that it becomes a lot more clear, and you can change the type. Now I'm going to talk about these types in a minute, but first let me talk about the aspect. So with the freehand you have all the options that you want. So you've got the most freedom. So you can just drag this box here, you can drag it out again, make it smaller, whatever you like, right? So let's say you want to post this on Instagram, you want to post this on Twitter. So in that case, you can change the aspect ratio and then go for square, for instance. And then when you move this in or outwards, you see that the entire box starts to change. And that has to do with the fact that the aspect ratio stays 1:1. Or if you change it to, let's say, 16:9, which is HDTV, it will change like this, and that gives you less freedom to work with when cropping this image. Now I've explained it before, I'm going to explain it again. If you have an image, then you can divide it in 3 compartments. You've got the left side, the middle side, and you've got the right side. Now this bird is looking to the left, so in that case what you want to do ideally is place this point on the eye of the bird because it's looking that way. What you don't want to do is drag it like this so that the bird is facing the other way from the space. The only time you want to do this is when you have an explosion in the back, like a James Bond where he's just looking away. But in all other cases, just make it like this because that clicks so much better than when you change it this way. Let me show you the end result. That looks completely weird, and then this looks completely normal. Right, so these are the aspect ratios, and you can change them to whatever you like. You can change them to anamorphic as well. It's a special effect which kind of seems like a widescreen effect. So whatever you need, you can change it here. But the one you have the most artistic freedom with is the freehand. Right, now I haven't talked about the margins yet. You can drop this down, and that will allow you to crop it. And you don't crop the image, you crop these guidelines. So you can crop the left side, you can crop the right side, top, bottom, and then that uses percentages, and you can click your right mouse button as well and then change this to the desired value, and that will allow you to create a custom block. Now, if you have this set to square, for instance, and you try to do that, you see that all the other sliders are moving at the same time. So to me, it doesn't make sense to use this when using square or any other option other than freehand. Let me reset it first so that we're back to the entire image. So now we want to move on to the guides. We've got the rules of thirds here, as explained a minute ago, but there's other types as well. Now, if I click metering, we see this kind of scope like with all these dots and stuff, and you might wonder what this means. Well, metering refers to the process where the camera evaluates the amount of reflected light in a scene and calculates what it thinks to be the best exposure. The camera does this based on the assumption that the brightness of the scene should be 18% reflectivity of a particular level of gray. If it calculates the scene to be above 18% value, it will show the image as being overexposed. And if it calculates it to be less than 18% gray, it will show as underexposed. Now, I'm not sure how this will benefit you here in the cropping module because you can't read measurements out of it either, but it's here regardless. If you have an idea how you can use this in Darktable the right way, let us know in the comment section because we all want to learn. Right. Next one, we've got the perspective. We see all those lines moving to the center of the image. And with the perspective grid, you can see the different lines across the image, giving you an indication on how the lines flow. Sometimes you can do this while taking photos already. The leading lines of, let's say, wooden boards will then draw your attention to the subject. Using this tool in the crop module allows you to see where the lines are going and adjust your crop accordingly. So we've got a leading line over here from the log, for instance, which is drawing our attention a certain way. And in a different type of image, you can use all these lines. Now the next option is diagonal method. The diagonal method is a method of composition that was accidentally discovered in May 2006 by the Dutch photographer and teacher of photography Edwin Westhoff, while doing research in relation to the in photography known theory of composition called the rules of thirds, which is this one, and I showed you before. The diagonal method is not a contrived theory, but a discovery. It is not derived from the golden section or the rules of thirds. The technical side of diagonal method is rather simple. Each 90-degree corner of a work of art can be divided in two angles of 45 degrees. This dividing line is actually called the bisection line that divides an angle into two equal parts. It appeared that artists were intuitively placing details which they found important on these lines with a deviation of max 1 to 1.5 millimeter. Now Edwin Westhoff called this the diagonal method because these lines are also the mathematical diagonals of the two overlapping squares within a rectangle. So we've got rectangle and then we've got two overlapping squares. People seem to look through pictures in the same way as the artist did. They followed the bisection lines or diagonals. The difference between the existing theories of composition like the rules of thirds and the golden section is that the diagonal method is not concerned with making good compositions, but with finding details which are important to the artist concerning content. Such a detail can be meaningful in a narrative, psychological or emotional way. On this level, the DM is completely subjective. It has nothing to do with placing lines or shapes in a certain location within a frame with the intention of getting a better composition. So we can use a DM to find out what the interests of the artist were. And that was an entire mouthful, but you can change this as well to any aspect you like. And you see that these are starting to overlap. See? And then when you drag them out, it's basically like two axes next to each other. And then we've got another one, which is the harmonious triangles. So we've got two big spots and like four little spots. To construct a harmonious triangle, determine which corner will have the focus of attention. Bisect your scene by drawing one line in your mind from that corner to its opposite. And then draw a line from an adjacent corner to a third of the edge closest to the focus of attention, which is here. So you go from here to here and then you go upwards. And then the next one is golden sections, and that basically looks like the rules of thirds, and this method involves dividing the image using a grid that's based on the golden ratio. So approximately 1 to 1.618. And this ratio is believed to be aesthetically pleasing. The grid typically consists of two horizontal, here we go, and two vertical lines, dividing the image into 9 unequal sections. And by placing key elements of your photo along these lines or at their intersections, so here we go again, we can just drag this out. Let me make this smaller and then place it on the eye of the bird. There you go. You can create a well-balanced and harmonious composition. So this looks very pleasing to look at. Right, let me reset that and let's go to the final one. And the final one we have are the golden spirals and the golden means. Now let me explain that to you, because here we see the golden spiral and then we've got the golden spiral sections and then we've got the golden mean, which shows both of them. And the golden spiral is a logarithmic spiral where the growth factor is based on the golden ratio. When applied to photo cropping, this spiral provides a natural and aesthetically pleasing flow to the image. You position the spiral in such a way that the focal point of your image coincides with the smallest part of the spiral. So that's here. So let me drag this in again and put that on the eye and then crop it. There we go. This method is especially effective for guiding the viewer's eye towards the most important part of the photo. For the golden spiral sections, this method combines elements of the golden spiral and the golden sections. The image is divided using the golden sections grid and then a golden spiral is overlaid onto this grid. This approach allows for more complex compositions as it provides multiple points of interest following both the grid and the spiral path. And then the final one, which we have over here, the golden mean, is that the golden mean, another term for the golden ratio, involves using all guides, the sections, spirals, and sometimes diagonals based on the golden ratio to determine the crop. This comprehensive method considers all aspects of the golden ratio in composition, offering multiple ways to align and balance the elements within the photo for the most aesthetically pleasing result. Each of these methods aims to create a sense of balance and natural attractiveness in photo compositions, leveraging the principles of the golden ratio. Experimenting with these different methods can lead to more dynamic and engaging photographs. And now you know everything about the crop and rotate module.